Zach, Greer, Peter, thank you so much. This is very exciting to have you here.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
So
really.
I know you were so
Yes.
excited to have a lot of questions thrown right at you immediately. So we,
Right. So start with Zach and work your way this way.
So I am going to start with you just in the sense that,
All right.
you know, we know that The Ghost Trap is based on a wonderful book by Kay Stevens.
Yes.
And you know, the book in itself is wonderful, and the tribute at the beginning of the movie reads, "To Mainers and the salt that binds them." So what was it about this story that made you and all of you feel like this needs to be on a big screen?
So, you know, the original version that was written left that out. And when I talked to Kay and James, I was like, this is the hook. Mm-hmm. This is what's going to resonate with our audience, especially in New England area. So, yeah, so we put that in there, and I think that that really ties it together for us. Mm-hmm. So,
it's
yeah.
always a good sign when I start crying in the first 30 seconds of a movie. That's a great sign.
Yeah. So it was. I think it was a great way to open. It was a great way to open the film.
And beyond that, like what drew you to this is feeling like, you know, this shouldn't just be a book. This should be a movie. You know, kind of what was it about?
You know, the other thing was, you know, what we learned through the lobstering community, that everyone is so closely, not, you know, it's very tight knit, mm-hmm. And yeah, it was there's a lot of strength and inner strength. You know, between the characters in the book, and that's one of the things that drew me to the story. So, yeah, the salt that binds them.
Yeah.
And
because Peter, you found the book, right? In a
I found the
bookstore?
book in Lincolnville.
Yeah.
We were on vacation and running through, and it was just, you know, one of the many local writers that were on a table in a gift shop, and I was looking for a horror story, and
it's called The Ghost Trap.
It's called The Ghost Trap. You know,
Seems a little misleading.
That's what got me. But you know, when I started reading the book, I was like, what a great story, because I could relate to so much of what was happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I talked to James about it, and we're like, okay, let's pursue this. Let's try to option this and take it further and see where it goes. And
here we are.
Yeah, and here we are.
Oh
you
my
know?
goodness.
So yeah, it's been an exciting journey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know, actors read a lot of scripts. They get a lot of scripts. But something has to draw you into a story to make you want to go to the trouble of researching and playing a character and embodying that character. So what was it, Greer, about Anya that made you go, yes, she needs to be mine?
Oh my gosh. I mean, just first of all, everything about the story. Like I read the script. I was doing a movie down in Boston actually, and my manager sent me the script. And I also thought it was a horror movie when I saw the name, and I was like, "Oh, okay, a little horror movie that'll shoot in Maine, great." And then I read it, and I was like sobbing by the end of it, because I just think the story is so true to life, and I fell in love with all of the characters, but specifically Anya. I'd never been given the opportunity to kind of really dive into a character with this much to her. You know, she goes through an accident in the movie. And so I think to play both pre-accident Anya and post-accident Anya was really fun as a character kind of test to just like decide like who was she before this, who was she after this. Like it was just so much fun. I got so much material to just like really sink my teeth into. And as an actor, I love that. And I remember seeing it, I remember reading it and being like, I actually don't know if I'm a good enough actress to play this part. Like I think it really scares me. It's really gonna be tough, but also like that's the fun. Like why would I just choose roles that I know that I'm gonna really do well or that feel easy? Like why would I just want to do that? Like I want to be challenged. I want something that really tests me. And this character was that. And I also I love her. I love her heart. I love who she is. And so I just like I love her love for Jamie. So it just like everything about her, I was like, I have to play this. Like once I read it, I was like, I have to do this.
Typically being scared and uncomfortable is a sign of growth, which is always a good thing.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. And for you, Jamie, a lot of layers to Jamie as well, to his life, what he's been through and now what he's going through with Anya. So, you know, you read the script, what was your sort of guttural reaction? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I again, like to echo Greer, the story in itself is so beautiful. You know, it's such a beautifully sad story, and I think that I got a lot from reading the book after reading the script too, because there's so much context that goes into the book that's not implemented into the script, because you know, I mean, you got 400 pages in a book, you got 90 pages in the script,
Right.
so there's only so much that we can put into it. But yeah, I mean, I just really resonated with Jamie, with the communal aspect of Maine and his relationship with the other lobstermen, with his family, how big his heart is, how much he cares for Anya, how he's trying to
Do the right thing.
do the right thing and
Yeah.
balance a really tricky situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can't help but just root for him. So
Yeah. For both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
yeah, I know.
You really like. I still watch the movie and I'm like, come on,
No, but it
like
could
for
be
both of
okay.
them,
Yeah.
exactly.
And, yeah.
Which is how you know it's great.
Well, we want to roll a
Yeah.
clip. This is the accident that you were referencing. Of course, you know, no storyline is flat, and so you know something major happens. A couple major things happen. So this is the first. This is the first clip. This is what happens with Anya.
Hey, Anya, be careful. We got a big wave coming in.
Yuli, you coming to Church's later? You still owe me a beer.
Yeah, I'm there. Anya, we're going to Church's, yeah? Anya. Anya. He went overboard! Sherman overboard! I need help! Somebody, right now! Anya! 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 God damn it! Where's everybody? Anya!
I right down to how you kind of say her name in that way. Anya, come on.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Antares, by the way.
Yeah.
Dan's boat.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what I wanted to talk about. So obviously, the movie takes its first major turn in this moment, but you spend a lot of time on Antares throughout this movie, and you've got to get that right. You've got to get, you know, the process of lobstering and just the authenticity of that,
Yeah.
right down to how you move around a boat. Like
Yeah.
you've got to get that right.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you approached your training as a lobsterman.
Yeah, no, we couldn't have done it without Ryan Post and his wife Sherry, as well as Dan the Man Lobsterman, because they took us in with open arms and showed us the ropes. The first day, Ryan took Peter and myself out on his boat, and just kind of walked us through the steps, broke it down, the whole hauling process, and broke it up into like 5 different segments. And so it was just repetitive motions of doing it over and over and over and over again. And by the end of the day, we came out with something that was passable. And you know, then it kind of just evolved from there. So we had, you know, another few days before first day of principal photography to work on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was really all credit to them for being the best teachers and going through, putting Greer and me through Lobster Boot Camp.
Yeah, and also for the most part, like they were behind the camera in Video Village all the time. Because like I even remember our first day of shooting, Ryan was there making sure that like when I had to set the trap in that first scene that we shot, that like every motion was just correct.
Yeah.
Like even the way that I put it on my knee in the boat, the way that I tied the rope around, because he was like, if you do this, people will know it's not real. If you do this, people will know you don't know what you're doing. And so like there were times when we'd redo it just simply to get like that motion down, to be like, no, you have to know exactly what you're doing because people are going to watch this. And
the other burden that you carried playing Anya is you now have to play someone with a traumatic brain injury. And so I saw a lot of really, not wonderful, I want to say wonderful nuance, but really precise nuance in your physicality, from your speech to the way there's a scene where you're going over to Jamie's house for dinner and you went up the stairs one at a time.
Oh, I'm so glad you noticed
that.
that.
I saw that as well. And I was reading the credits as they went, and there was a traumatic brain injury consultant. So talk about the process of embodying that character, because that's a challenge too.
Yes. So Kay, our author and screenwriter, she knew this woman, Tina, who had suffered a traumatic brain injury and is now pretty much fully recovered, but still has moments where she goes in and out. And I think like my first day in Maine, or maybe the second day, I can't remember, we did a FaceTime call with Tina and Kay and myself. And Tina was such a help, and basically just like talked to me about every aspect of her life, previous, post, and now. And what the differences was like, what the challenge was like, or what the challenges were like. And having her was so, like, I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. She sent me a voice memo when she was having aphasia one day, where she was like, I was supposed to go get dinner with a friend, and I sent her this voice memo to say I can't make it. And the way her speech was so slowed and so kind of stuttered, was incredible. And she doesn't even hear herself really talking like that until she plays it back. So having that was such a huge, huge thing for me to have, to be like, oh, okay, when she's dealing with this, this is how she sounds. Or like in the convenience store scene, when she has that kind of breakdown. Tina was like, you know, you'd be getting really overwhelmed and you'd hear, like, everything's going to be loud to you. Like, the phone ringing is going to be loud, the bell, the way the air conditioning is, like, everything's going to be loud, and you're not going to be able to, like, handle that.
There's going to be a convergence, like an overwhelming.
Yes. And so it was just her walking me through the beats of the script and just telling me, like, what each moment would be like. And then also what it's like kind of have, like, a better day. Like even that day at Jamie's parents' house, it's a better day for Anya. So her speech isn't as stuttered. She's definitely better, but still struggling.
Still struggling. Yeah.
But you know, it was really fun or not fun to play, but it was definitely a challenge.
A challenge.
Yeah.
We would be remiss if we didn't. We're just going to keep going. We would be remiss if we didn't mention that. There's, you know, a tandem plot here. It's not just specifically the microcosm of Jamie and Anya. This is about the lobstering community and some of the things that go on there. So I want to roll that second clip, because the movie takes a second turn with that other subplot. So let's take a look.
What do you want to do? You want to call Fogarty up?
We just lost 10 grand worth of gear today. We're not calling that up just so he can lie to us.
You can't go off half-cocked when we don't have proof.
He's been pulling our lines for years. No doubt it's him.
It's got to be Ev and his brothers.
That whole thing the other day was stupid.
Ev came after Jamie.
I heard you gave him good reason to.
Not us. That was Tadpole's dumb. Me and him had nothing to do with that.
This is that hot-headed kitty I can't stand.
Look, they leveled me. Okay, so why don't you let this be my deal?
You can't just cut the Fogartys and walk away. You say to Dale, unless somebody steps forward.
No, look. There's more than one way to handle Dale Fogarty. Okay, if it's one thing that Gramps taught
You
me.
think your grandpa could handle Dale Fogarty? Yeah, Dale just loves when people try to reason with him. No, he'd go after the soft spot just like he did
No,
to Charlie.
Gramps was the best damn Highlander.
Your grandpa was a
Hey, enough. Jeez.
Yeah, I see you inherited more than just his territory.
Jim, I'm saying you start a trap war with them. It's not going to be just on you anymore. Don, we'll have a dialogue. We'll have a...
There is no time for a dialogue, okay? We do this tonight, okay? Tonight!
I remember seeing him in Armageddon. He was one of the NASA guys in Armageddon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Chris,
Yeah, Chris.
Chris
Ellis. Yeah.
We were,
Yeah.
Greer and I were rehearsing. What were we watching?
We were watching, oh my gosh.
Apollo 13.
Apollo 13.
Yeah.
We were rehearsing.
We had just shot the scenes with him.
Yeah.
And then we were rehearsing when we had Apollo 13 on. And we
then
were like,
Chris's
oh my
face
God.
pops
It was
up.
Chris.
And we were like, oh,
Yes.
man, we can't get away from you.
I look at
Yeah.
I know, he's one of those
He's in
chameleon guys, and he's in
everything.
everything. Xander
Yeah.
Berkeley's like that too.
Yeah.
And Sarah Clark as well. So that scene really starts kind of that other plot in motion. There's some serious stuff going on in the lobstering community there. That brings me to a scene for you that I want to talk about. I sort of call it the hammer scene at this point. Excellent hammer wielding skills. The passion that comes out in that scene, there's no way that doesn't come from a real place. So it's clear to me that you really took on the onus of what it means to be a lobsterman and a member of a lobstering community, and when you have an outsider come in who not only shakes things up but causes harm. And I feel like all of that comes out in that scene. So just talk a little bit about, we're running out of time a little bit, but talk a little bit about what fueled you for that scene. Yeah.
Honestly, I probably went back to my junior career playing tennis and remembering missing forehands. So the frustration of that is probably what I went back to to get that
because you do have to
that
reference
emotion
things in
out.
yourself too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
honestly, probably missing forehands is what came
Yeah.
out in that scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Very well translated though too.
Yeah. But obviously, like, you know, the homework that I did as well of having an outsider come in and disrupt, you know, something that the lobstering community holds so close to their heart is obviously something that'll just like trigger you and trigger Jamie.
Yeah.
So.
This is unfortunately my last question. It's not my last question on paper, but it's going to have to be for time's sake. You know, we near the end of the movie, and it's clear that we're not heading down a path of happiness, unfortunately. And so that last scene with Anya, it's a lot. You know, what kind of resonated with me as I watched that scene and watched the conclusion of the movie was that really ultimately Anya is sort of a ghost trap in and of herself.
Yeah.
And so just, again, walk us through the emotion of that last scene with her, you know, watching your character sort of culminate in this end. Yeah.
Well, I'm like, there's so many thoughts.
Yeah.
Because also in that same sentiment, Jamie is also a ghost trap in himself. He's also kind of stuck in this thing he can't get out of. I think it's so difficult to like put into words, but I feel like she was so excited about the future and what her life could be, and then it kind of just all comes crashing down and she doesn't see a way out, and so she does what she does, and then she really does kind of get stuck. And I think the beautiful thing to me about this movie is that we don't really know what ends up happening to her. She's just kind of there. We leave her there. We leave
She's
her where
lost
she is.
like a ghost trap.
Yeah.
She really is.
And I think sometimes things in our life are lost like ghost traps. And there's nothing we can do about it. And I think it's a really sad story, but I think it's also just the reason why I love this story is because it's just about, it's so truly reflective of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any, I don't want to leave you out, so do you have any final thoughts on the film and their performances before we leave?
I mean, we're completely happy with the way you know, the film went. And these guys were so professional. What they brought to the table, just, you know, it comes through in the film. And we're completely happy. What, you know, what can I say? I'm sorry, I'm not prepared for this.
No, you're good.
You're good.
No, Peter.
You got thrown into it. Yeah.
But,
well, look, we thank you so much for joining us today. This movie really is a gift and a blessing, you know, and I hope that it goes as well as it can possibly go for you guys. I think it's going to do a lot, and your performances, I think, will be very much noted.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having
It means
us.
a lot. Yeah, thank you
Yes.
for having us.
All right, we appreciate it.